So I'm out and about today. I'm going to record the first bit here before I go in to vote. If you haven't voted yet early, you should. Or at least make sure you show up on voting day, okay? Get it done. Monday, I was really tired. I think like my sleep schedule was all wonked up or something. And so I ended up lifting with Julia before, oh no, I remember what I did now. I woke up, I got up to go run, and I was so fried from being in New Orleans that I sat on the couch like a zombie for about 45 minutes or something, and then realized I didn't have time to get my run in before getting the kids out the door to school. So I met Julia at a lift at 8 a.m. After dropping Andrew off at school, and then I ran afterwards because I was really tired after New Orleans. It was insane down there. But with doing some lifting, and it was super light, I think we did some band work, just getting stuff firing again, it made it so that the run, I was good and warmed up for it, my glutes were firing, everything was moving the way it's supposed to, and so like it was really more of an enhanced dynamic warm-up than like a real lift. And so the half hour easy at the loop, nice and flat, smooth, and I was moving fairly quick. So yeah, we'll catch up with Tuesday here after I get done voting. All right, done and dusted, got that taken care of, voted, did our part, you should go do yours. So Tuesday, plan was just go get an easy half hour on the Greenway, parked at Cook Park, got warmed up. You know, I like parking there because there's bathrooms, and you know, I walked up, you know, it takes me about 5 minutes or so to walk from there where I'm doing my dynamic warm-up to the bottom of the hill. And you know, that's enough to like get the calves and feet limbered up, and then get half an hour easy on the trail, and finish, you know, with pretty steep incline with kind of switchbacks. I'm not trying to push it real hard, but that right knee was still feeling kind of grumpy when I got going, even after walking downhill. Part of the reason I don't like starting running downhill is like it's just you're not warmed up and you're jamming and it hurts. It doesn't feel good. So started running, and like 2 or 3 minutes later, I ran into my wife. She had parked at the south end of the Greenway to get her walk in before going to work. And so I ended up walking with her for a little bit, which was nice. Gave me a chance to kind of like warm that knee up a little more, talk to her a little bit, because I hadn't really had a chance to catch up with her a ton since getting back from New Orleans without being interrupted by kids. So that was really nice. And then realizing I was cut short on time because originally I had planned on running for 45 minutes. I was like, okay, I gotta get on it. I gotta get done. I gotta get to work. So I was like, I love you, dear. Gotta go. And kept running. And ended up running with a kid who used to be a student here at Tech, but now he's a like wilderness fire suppression kind of guy. So apparently he just got done doing a stint up in the Dakotas. Brian, I think his name was. Shout out, man. You're cool. He was running a little faster than I was. And so I unintentionally picked up the pace when he caught up with me. Excuse me. But yeah, he was super cool. We chatted while we were running. It was real nice to have someone to run with while just, you know, running easy miles on the Greenway. And ended up getting half an hour in instead of 45, but it was a little quicker than I probably would have gone because I was running with him, which was cool. So yeah, I just got to have some fun talking about fire suppression and preventative burning and all, because he was getting ready to go to Northern California, I think, here in a couple weeks to start his other job, which is fire suppression, preventative fire suppression, i.e. prescribed burning in Northern California, during the part of the year when it's not fire season. Because, you know, if that's your job is go around and put out wildfires during the part of the year when there's not wildfires, you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs. So a lot of those guys employ the same techniques, a lot of the same skills to do prescribed burning to make it so that wildfires are less of a probability, and if they do happen, are nowhere near as hot. Seriously, prescribed burning, very important for the ecosystem and to keep people's houses from burning down. But yeah, Tuesday was great. Wednesday, 5 a.m. track workout. Bam, we hit it. And, you know, I was starting to feel pretty good, but I didn't get greedy. I intentionally kept it pretty chill. We did 3 times 10 minutes of threshold after getting warmed up, drills, strides, you know, the usual. But 3 times 10 minutes at threshold. And that's probably honestly a little under like the speed wise per se. But it was nice and cool. So like my heart rate wasn't working too hard, but I could tell it was a little bit of work on the legs. Flash forward later, a week later, 2 weeks later, something, whatever it is now. My quads, since the temperature dropped, have been getting beat up because my heart rate is staying nice and low so I can run faster, which means more force being generated through my quads. Oof. We'll catch up with that here when we get to talking about this week. So that Wednesday workout, we switched directions on each interval. So the middle interval looks like it's at a different speed than the first one and the third one, but they were all really about the same effort level. The second one I think was just a hair slower, just based on like where I finished the interval at kind of deal. But I was kind of like bopping between lanes 5, 6, 7, maybe getting out to lane 8 occasionally. I wasn't running in lane 1, and so I don't really have an exact measurement of how far I was going on each rep. But that was okay. For the purposes of the workout, it's about effort level. It felt about right, but just a little soft, which is probably what I needed given how my knee had been feeling down in New Orleans. All right, and so Wednesday afternoon, went and lifted with Julia. We did some squats on the Bosu ball and some cable machine chest presses, just single arm. And then we did some lunges with a twist. So a lot of stability stuff, working on mobility a little bit, but also some core and hip stability, shoulder stability, just making sure we're structurally sound. And as we get ready to shift into doing something a little heftier, we did do some kettlebell swings too, just to kind of get stuff firing, get the glutes firing, get a little bit of that explosive pop, because you got to do some of that, and of course some planks. Oof. Say hello, Snitch. Meow. All right, so Friday morning, or Thursday morning, came around. Thursdays are normally recovery day for me. This is kind of the way it works out. And so what I normally do is just something like an easy half hour. And I did not do that. I ran a little more. I ran 5 miles in about 38 minutes. And I kind of did, essentially what I did is I did my normal campus loop. I just added a little half hour bit onto it. Oh man, Snitch is hanging out in the background again. 7:36 pace. Not stupid fast for me, not stupid easy. But I am starting to notice that my turnover rate, my steps per minute, is starting to pick up just a little bit in terms of like my average easy pace run. And I hadn't quite figured out why yet. But Friday, 7 miles easy in the morning. And then after dropping Andrew off at school, I met Julia. We did some band work. Some monster walks and high knee drives with a band around your feet and some toe walks and calf raises and all that kind of stuff. Again, more hip stability stuff to kind of keep my leg where it's supposed to be so that my knee doesn't buckle and I have the issue with the knee that part of the reason I thought was the issue. All right, so been a couple days since last segment. Crazy. Anyway, checking back in here. So Saturday, normally I do my long runs on Saturday, but I was pretty tired, and Julia had to bust out to go do some outreach stuff with aquatic insects and teaching people about water scorpions and water beetles and that kind of stuff. So I pushed my long run to Sunday and just did 5 easy, kind of like I did on Thursday, the extra little half mile kind of add on in the neighborhood, running around campus. 7:38 pace, nice and easy. Nothing really to get too excited about. And then Sunday, doing the long run on Sunday instead of Saturday. Originally, I'd planned on doing, 3-mile warm up and then 3 sets of 3 miles at goal marathon pace with a 1 mile recovery, easy on it. Apparently, I can't do math while I'm running. I know I'm not the only one who has this issue, but I ended up running 3 easy and then running 2 at marathon pace and then got my 1 mile easy and then was like, wait a minute, my math's not adding up. 3 miles at marathon effort and then a mile easy, and then the third set, I could have sworn I had done 3, like so much so I thought my watch had like done math wrong or something, but it was only 2 miles. And then I did a 3 mile cool down, and that was plenty of work. I mean, it's only 7 miles, like all marathon pace instead of 9. But I did get to practice fueling a little bit. And I wasn't trying to get too greedy with it, but the splits were pretty good. The splits, I was pretty happy with it. The first 2 going out towards Grambling, I only hit, 634, 646, but so they're a little slow, but it's first rep and is uphill. So, given it was hilly, and one of the things I have noticed lately is the quads are like the power output in my legs is not quite where it needs to be going uphill. Like I can run quick on flat, but there's not a lot of power behind it. So I tried to address this the next week, and yeah, anyway. But yeah, so first rep, 634, 646, not amazing. The second rep was where I did 3 miles, was 622, 633, 639. So those ones were much better, especially when you figure in like elevation gain and whatnot. The grade adjusted pace was 623, 632, 630. So those were like bam, 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 bam. The first one was a little fast. But I'm not going to complain. It was like right after a big uphill. And so like you get to the top of the uphill, right as you start your rep, as you crest it. And I just gotten a goo packet down. So like had some sugar hit my bloodstream. So like I felt perkier. So that first mile was probably a little quicker than it probably needed to be. And that's assuming the watch was measuring correctly with trees and stuff as you get out on Alabama, Martin Luther King towards Grambling. But it felt pretty good. I did notice, like, as I was running through Grambling, there's definitely a ditch that did not smell good and looked like there was a sewer line that was draining into the ditch. It was gross. But made it back to Highway 80, made that left-hand turn, and started that third rep on Highway 80 after, running 730 pace for the easy mile recovery. And that second set, we hit 637 and 645. So we were definitely getting tired by the end. A little bit of an uphill, so like grade adjusted pace 637, 641. But it was quality work. Like the heart rate was in the right zone. It was marathon effort, even if the pace wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. I was pretty dehydrated though afterwards when I got home and actually like weighed myself afterwards. I want to say I was down like 6 pounds, so 3 quarts of sweat, assuming, is that normal hydration levels, normal body weight before leaving. I didn't weigh myself beforehand, so I'm not 100% sure, but I know I was dehydrated because I definitely had like salt encrusted on my face and and that's a sign you're getting dehydrated, especially for me. So I definitely need to work on the nutrition and the hydration a little better. I did make a pit stop at Subway right at the tail end as I finished that last rep. Quick bio break, refilled the water, got the heart rate down a little bit. So yeah, that was nice. But yeah, and that was it. That was the week. And in the grand scheme of things, that got us to, where do we get to? Total of 49 miles for the week. So not as high as I wanted, but it was, it's what I had in me that week. Yeah, that's a wrap for week 7. So, till next time, guys, train smart.